Oh.
All right. Shall we call the select board meeting for September 15th, 2025 to order? In our agenda, we have approved minutes from September 10th. Then followed by Lake Wyola Stormwater Erosion Task Force report presentation. Then the Energy and Climate Action Committee presenting the community choice aggregation products to us. Review group insurance commission letter. Review and vote on sending a letter to Franklin Regional Transit Authority regarding advisory board member. Appointment of Rich Strongman to Council on Aging. Appointment of Kathy Salvador to Police Chief Search Committee. And appointment of Jill Bancroft as part-time police officer. Then review and sign a special permit application for the 3rd annual townwide birthday party. And then we will go into executive session not to return. Was there anything else? Oh, town administrator report. I'm sorry, I forgot. Haley. Anything that has popped up in the last 48-ish hours? All right. So let's get started with approving the minutes for September 10th. Do I hear a motion for approving the minutes for September 10th, 2025?
So moved.
Okay.
Were there any edits or clarifications to the minute?
There's one on the second page, McNichols, spelled, it's
McNichol.
Donna McNichols.
So
That's all, that's really,
McNichol. Okay. That was
and actually, it's another one right there.
alert under,
Be alerted
Okay.
the town.
so under public comment, section A, second to last line, alert. Should be alerted.
Alert.
And Donna McNichol in the page 2, halfway down, second half of the page, vertically. Donna McNichol, spelling. Okay, all right. That's it. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Dr.
Maypeace O'Neill, aye. Okay. Next is the Lake Wyola Stormwater Erosion Task Force report presentation from Jennifer. Jennifer, do you want to slide up to the here and put your computer down? And go ahead and
You can watch on TV.
can you go ahead and share your screen when you're ready and we'll leave it over to you? No, you'll be on the video here, so you don't need your video on. Can you all see that back there? Just, I know, I feel like that.
Good to be here. Good to have you here.
Yeah.
Brennan, I'm just gonna check with Brent. Brennan, can you see what Jennifer is sharing? I just wanna make sure that that's working on your end.
Yes, I can see what she's sharing.
All right, go ahead.
This is so high tech. Oops, what happened? I lost it. Now I'm screen sharing, right?
Right there.
How come I don't see that? Yeah,
You're right there.
In the middle of your
Here in the
screen.
middle.
I know, but I'm only seeing this.
We see what you see.
Oh, no, she's saying. it.
No, I'm seeing the Zoom.
Oh, share your screen again. You may have unshared your screen. No, you're there.
All right, something's not-
Did
let me-
it,
I know,
did
let me
it
get rid of this, here we go.
minimize?
Click on that.
Yeah, double click that.
Okay, good.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, so this is a years and a half worth of work, and what I have here for you all is a abridged version of the webinar that we did with FERCog. And I've tried to pull out the key slides, and also I have our recommendations and so on, and a few discussion points and questions for you all. I also have most of that in hard copy. So I wasn't sure. Our report, was 10 attachments long and also all transmitted digitally. So You'll
on
see
the-
I have
it's
a
on the
question
line.
about that later.
Sorry.
Can everybody hear Jennifer? I just want to make sure. Can you hear Jennifer okay? Brennan?
Yeah, I can hear it just fine.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
So I'm trying to see who else is here, from our committee. Tom, Seifert is here, and, Mark Rivers from LWAC said that he was gonna tune in. I see that he's tuned in. So who are we? Bob Douglas, who's a Concom member, is on his way. Charlene Galensky, who is a Lake Wyola Association board member and their liaison to our group, couldn't make it today. David from the Highway Department is a consultant, Eric. Stalwart member. Jim Moore,
He's the
Joe
only selectman who came
Salvador.
out-
Oh, there
Say
he is. He showed up.
Eric is the only selectman who came out, 2 times, 2 rainy days in a row, so. That's the only selectman
That's
who
right.
can do something.
That's commitment for you. We worked really hard and there've been a lot of different meetings and presentations, but I just want to give this group of people a real shout out because I don't think, there was only one time, which was last Thursday, that we weren't able to reach a quorum.
Wow.
And people
That's
really,
amazing.
people really showed up.
I would just interrupt and give you a shout out as the chair. so-
Yeah.
Seriously, I think you're
Yeah.
fantastic, chair.
Thank you. I try hard, but you can't be a good chair unless you have a good committee. Now, how
All
can I
right, that's
advance
a kumbaya moment.
Okay. So now I'd like to get rid of. No, God, I did it again. I'm trying to get rid of a thing that's in my visual field, but I'm just gonna ignore it. Okay, so what were our guiding principles? From the very beginning, we had all reviewed multiple studies that the town had commissioned. We had also observed events of high storm intensity ourselves. We can see the firsthand effects of erosion on the ecosystem. And we also noted that there are multiple stakeholders involved, municipal departments, municipal select boards, private entities, private homeowners. So these are some photos that we've taken and showing road erosion after big storm events, showing stormwater pouring off someone's property into the lake. I want you to pay particular attention to these sediment plumes here because they're going to come up again on the next slide, and also the sedimentation in the North Cove. Oh, wrong. Sorry. Okay, so what were our guiding principles? That erosion is not one entity's problem. I think that at Lake Wyola, it's been identified as a road problem for a long time. That proves not to be the case. Water doesn't care who owns what. It just flows where it's gonna flow. This slide down here, which is Long Island Sound, shows a similar but much larger sediment plume after a big storm event where all of the sediment is coming from Vermont and New Hampshire and Massachusetts and affecting the fisheries in Long Island Sound. So a systems-wide approach is what was recommended by FERCog, and we embrace that wholeheartedly as a necessity to bring all the parties together and work independently where we have to work independently and work collaboratively where we have to work collaboratively and where collaboration proves to be the best approach. I want to say special thanks to FERCog and also to Tamsin Flanders, our contact there, Kimberly McPhee too. They've been fantastic resources for us. The town got the direct local technical assistance. You'll see some of the results of that. And this webinar, a lot of it was put together with me and Tamsin working on this, so. Okay, so what were our responsibilities? This was a charge from the select board to develop strategies for reducing sedimentation, to cultivate an entire watershed systems-based approach, to develop infrastructure, maintenance, and water and education strategies, and to build capacity for partnerships. These entities exist and we talk about partnership, but because historically everyone has worked separately from each other, the capacity for partnership needs to get built before you can even be partners. And I think that our task force is a good example of how those partnerships can form. Okay, so this is a map that shows Lake Wyola land cover and landmarks. It also shows what our primary study areas were. So what we noticed pretty quickly, and you'll see that in the next slide, is that while down along the lake shore is where most of the residences are, the water is flowing to the lake through those private properties and over the dirt roads from uphill locations. And so our approach was to track the water from uphill locations, looking at how it gets down to the lake and what the discharge points are. We did not look in depth at the Fisk Pond watershed, sub-watershed that flows into North Cove. But we have recommended that that be studied, and you'll see that that will pick up when we talk about the engineering studies. So what have we done to date? Well, we did field walks and identified hotspots and key drainage systems. We received estimates from 2 engineering studies in April. We sought them from 3 companies and settled on 1. We filed a grant application for these studies with the Rural Development Fund. Next month is the date of finding out whether we get that grant. That would fund these same engineering studies. We created a short-term road maintenance project list for both the association and the highway department. We developed education programs. These are slides from the program that we ran in August, which was sparsely attended, but everyone who came was super interested. FERCog helped out too. We have our own Bob Douglas, who was doing a water filtration based on different land materials. We had watershed models, we had erosion models, we had kids making murals. It was the first step at building capacity. We also had multiple meetings and presentations with Concom, LWAC, the association, and the highway department. So what did we find out? There's a lot of text here. It's not my favorite way to go. I tried to highlight our main conclusions. Sediment heads to the lake from uphill locations, from both town-owned paved and dirt roads, Locks Pond and Wendell being primarily the 2 roadways at the uphill locations. There are privately owned uphill properties that impact sedimentation too, Lake Wyola Association roads, as well as directly from lowland private properties. It's necessary to slow the flow of water from the uphill locations to trace the water flow to various discharge points. And there's not been a coordinated approach to bringing relevant parties together. In addition, homeowners and property owners have a variety of DIY fixes, which work great on their little plots, but there isn't a lot of conversation about how that impacts their neighbors or even the lake, which they may not even consider as a neighbor necessarily. The association has limited financial ability, even though they've made significant capital improvements, over $55,000 since 2020. But their financial capacity is limited and their operational capacity is limited to ways that they might participate. There's no central mechanism with the responsibility to coordinate all these parties. And FERCog has identified that there needs to be additional research about the impact of offshore activities. Our focus has all been from the land to the water. But there are effects, say, of wake boats, beaver dams. It affects lake depths, vegetation growth, and bacteria in the lake. And you'll see some updated slides as of this morning about that. So what do we recommend? We recommended conducting this hydraulic and hydrologic engineering study, as well as a geomorphic study of Fisk Brook. We talked about that. We have the estimate. We're waiting for the Rural Development Fund word. If that grant doesn't come through, there'll need to be additional research about funding the studies and also funding the infrastructure that those studies recommend. We need to research alternative funding for engineering as well as infrastructure. We need to continue and be consistent with our public education sessions. We need to have a coordinated town and Lake Wyola operational and management plan that would be developed in coordination with everybody, that would lay out what needs to happen, what are the assessment things, so that that becomes a living document that can be the core of this partnership. We need to create a coordinated stormwater management maintenance process, either through an existing committee or a new body. Technically, our task force's charge ends today. And so what do we do? What does the town wish to do with these findings? I just wanted to put this in here. It's an example of what we're calling the new approach, and that is taking a systems-wide engineering study approach. What's great about these engineering studies is that it's not tied into, this can only be used on municipal properties, this can only be used on private properties. So this is going to be the beginning. And it's the first time that we're really saying, let's try to address these problems in a comprehensive, widespread way. We have a contribution from the town of 4,000 and the association of 4,000, which provided the 8,000 that the Rural Development Fund likes to see in their grant applications. I'm hoping, I don't know if anyone's heard any scuttlebutt on your end, but I think they're pretty tight-lipped about it. I don't know if you were interested in this. This is the time frame that GZA puts forward. These are the steps of what their studies would entail. I could zoom in on that if it makes it any easier. I think I can zoom in on it. Yeah. So probably the main thing here is their timeline. So even if we do get the grant, which we'd find out in October, it's unlikely that they would probably begin until November. This is November 25, December, January, February, all the way through February, March, April, and May. So we're not looking to have any designs or anything like that until next spring, if we're lucky.
In that timeline, that they'd be able to see what snow melt looks like as well.
That's right. Yep, there's good. That is one thing that they said to us, that is, will be a plus. There's, besides what they'll be doing is modeling out these flows, looking at drainage areas, just like we started to do. And then we realized, we're just, like volunteer people, and we needed some people with expertise. They're also, and this is one thing that distinguished them from the other firms we talked to, they're going to identify conceptual solutions and prepare sketches with us, which would, put us in a very good position for applying for any kind of funding we would need for implementation that would already be done. These are a couple of other recommendations. We have some short-term maintenance projects that were recommended by FERCog, and we verified with our visits. So I think there'll be a need to follow up with the highway department and the association about how to get engaged with those projects. That is quite outside anything about the engineering study. These are things that can be done and need to be done in the meantime. The Dirt Road Management Handbook of FERCog talks about the need to, or recommends that a highway department develop an area for storing sandy soil. The Lake Wyola Association removes sandy soil from culverts and things, and they're looking to work with the town to see if we can identify such an area and if they can begin to participate with the town in that way. And finally, Fisk Brook. This came directly from LWAC, this recommendation. Fisk Brook has been a large source of sediment and infrastructure recommended by the studies should be implemented where possible. This is a photograph I took today of the growing beaver dam under the culvert on Lakeview. This is back there in Pine Brook area, and this is leads into Lake Wyola. And you can see the water levels here are quite different. This isn't few logs. And I know that Beaver Solutions went in and removed some. And they made a nice little pile next to the culvert of what they removed. So it's like the beavers just go, oh boy, we didn't even. Nothing's down even. But this is, I mean, I used to go down there and then call Howard and say, hey, there's wood in there. But this is like a fully functioning beaver dam now. And a good example of jurisdictional partnerships too. You know, I think that there are questions about how such a thing would get dealt with and who would deal with it, but the flood risk, removing the dam all at once would release a lot of sediment and bacteria into the lake. So it's a delicate kind of arrangement, but I just thought that that was a really good case study and very current because I was just over there. It was, right. So what are we asking? Will the task force, which was originally a working group charged with making recommendations, continue in a second phase with a new charge? And I've reviewed the recommendations. I have hard copies of those for you all too. Will the task force transition to it become a standing committee? Same question. Should it be a standing committee? Should it be folded in with some existing committee? Does the select board feel like this work should continue, etc.? These are a list of all the attachments in our digital filing of the report to you all. And is there a need for a hard copy of the full task force report, including all the attachments? So in that report, we have a list of all of Lake Wyola's capital improvements. We have Massachusetts alternative funding. We have more education initiatives. FERCog recommended lake quality monitoring, road retrofits to paved, not necessarily impervious paving, but paving that can drain in some key areas, and the Board of Health outreach on septic upgrading. I already mentioned the short-term management, and we have in one of the attachments, all the feedback. We did a draft report. We gave it to Concom and LWAC and the Highway Department and the association to ask for their feedback. We got good feedback and folded those into our recommendations. So, but their first set of unedited comments to us are in that attachment.
So I think we can answer the last one pretty easily, just because, open records request hasn't really caught up with electronic. We probably should have one copy,
Okay,
in town hall. And I don't know if Haley could print it out or you could send the file, something like that. So we would have to have.
we'll work together on
Yeah,
that.
so that's the question we can answer. Right away.
Okay, good, that's good, check.
At least one.
And then I'm open for your questions too, you know, so that was a brief summary and then the other questions as well, whatever. You all have the floor.
Rita, Eric, do you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask?
Well, I
We have
was,
comment
Thank
box
you for
too.
the wonderful report.
Yes,
That was
yeah.
beautiful. Very well done.
Thank you for
Hard work.
Because Tom and Bob.
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
answers.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
You do,
well,
yeah, yeah,
well, you know, I didn't read through everything, but I read through the recommendations and some of the, you know, additional documentation, and I began to kind of focus on what the next steps were and like how you continue this work. And obviously the, let's keep our fingers crossed that the Rural Development Fund grant comes through to do the study looking at this pond. But it seems to me that, that there's more work to be done with regard to, stormwater management. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to do this without, you know, is it creating a standing committee? I mean, we have stormwater issues in other
Areas.
areas in the, you know, I mean, this came up when we were putting together an application for the.
MVP, yeah.
Yeah, part sort of the priorities.
Right. So, I don't know if there's a kind of a bigger, like a broader kind of stormwater discussion, and then the Lake Wyola's a part of it, and that it, you know, I don't think it lives within an existing committee. I don't think there's an
No.
existing committee that's gonna take it on. The Conservation Commission is probably wouldn't do this.
In the sense that it would permit anything that, was the other feet of it, but, it's not really, conservation commission, so we wouldn't.
Right,
do something.
right. So it doesn't really have a home within any kind of, within any existing committee, and you have. So you have the Lake Wyola, I mean, you have a lot of different people who are involved here, the highway department, so. I'm not sure where the Community Preservation Committee belongs, that was the only one that seemed kind of,
I wasn't sure, I wasn't
I don't know
sure
how
either,
that-
but I think we threw in all the other committees.
yeah,
That we thought could be possibly involved.
yeah, I mean, those funds can be used for the dam, but and open space.
Yeah, I would add on that. Actually, because at least the original charge was focused on hazard mitigation plan and, municipal water bill preparedness plan,
Right,
both of which were stormwater related. That's a lot for us, more work, but we've discussed it, you know, our piece of it. So,
you want to take it on?
no. But we're going to party.
So, ECAC,
Or maybe there's, do we have a stormwater committee? Or,
No.
No,
townwide?
no.
no, we
Because
don't,
maybe
no.
There's a stormwater committee and then there's a Lake Wyola, it's
Subset,
subgroup,
yeah.
subset, or, you know, I mean. It could get, the workload for that committee could get divided up according to
Mhm.
geography.
right,
You know, I don't know.
right.
I feel like
Um,
Rita, we're heading toward another committee here.
I
Because it doesn't fit with anyone
No, it
that we
doesn't
have,
really
right? So
fit
we kind of
anywhere.
are,
But I think
think
it's
we're
really
having that,
important.
yeah.
I mean, I think that you guys have done a lot of groundwork here. I don't want to see it lost. I think there's a
Right.
lot of momentum. So it's like, and if we get the, Rural Development Fund grant, then that's just gonna like add to the information that we have. I mean, I think one of the missing pieces, is getting people around the lake really kind of bought into, like, you know, feeling some ownership of this problem, like this, you kind of own this lake, I mean, the town owns the lake, but you have a big investment here in your properties, and, if you don't, if that health of the lake goes, you know, your investment in your properties kind of goes, so if they can.
This is what I mean about, you know, I think that it's really important to have a dialogue that involves all the players, because historically, it's been like, okay, this is a problem with Lake Roads, but what we observed is that they're collateral damage. You know,
Right.
so it's really, it's as much homeowners that might have water flowing down their property onto Locks Pond Road or onto Wendell Road, and then it makes its way down to the lake. So this is why stormwater grew. That's not entirely focused on the lake, but, you know, the lake has a big, I mean, it has a big role in the town.
Right,
So,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, Bob and Tom could weigh in, Michael seems to have it, and we
Yeah, I
don't
see,
need
yeah.
it to be decided just yet.
yeah,
right,
But it is that, you know, our group, I know that there, one person, personal issues, she's gonna have to bow out. I know that Bob and Tom have said they're here for the long run, so am I. But there will need to be more of
More
us,
people.
yeah,
whether that's in a townwide stormwater committee or our group, that's another charge or something.
mhm.
Michael, I saw your.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the multi-committee workforce thing makes sense because it does touch a lot of people. You know, just thinking about both experience at ECAC, is what I mentioned, on the planning board, where we're looking at the solar sites. You know, so it's about dark. water runoff, it's gonna affect people's drinking water wells. You know, and then ECAC talked about when you have rain events and they go down Everett Road, that has an impact, so there's the flooding. So, you know, while there might be site or regional specific sub-town dynamics, there's also things that are just across. And the players, you know, the highways department's gonna be involved in any of
Right.
non-common, if there's, you know, delineated areas that need to be addressed, so I think.
And the Board of Health.
Yeah.
What else?
Right, so sort of having a work group where you have representation, I think the key is you could share, you might have one. I can tell.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, I think that would make some sense, I guess, you know, my question would be, in addition to yourselves, is there other staff support or outside technical support that the committee is gonna need in order, I mean, you have the FERCog, so you've had the technical assistance, whatever that's called, you know, the small.
Technical.
Yeah, but is there other, in order to kind of, you know, keep this,
Mhm.
I
keep this
think we need to,
moving?
I think if there was a group that was focused on this particular part of stormwater,
Mhm.
you know, so I identified here, or our group did, what some of the things, this responsibility that we would have.
Right,
So liaison between the town and Lake Wyoming, coordinate with the other, agencies, we wouldn't need special assistance for that. Provide information and assistance to the engineering studies, we gotta get an engineering study, it's not just this brook as geomorphic, it's a hydrologic study of the whole watershed as it impacts the lake. So there's
Right.
2 studies now.
right,
I don't think we need technical assistance for that, because we have, you know, we can get access to private property if they need it, we can walk them through some of our findings. Tom, you can weigh in on if you think we would need any special thing to advise the engineering companies. I don't think so. I'm working on having a plan that would deal with road, maintenance and management.
Mhm.
I don't know that we would need special assistance, but the commitment from the highway department and the association to work together, and
Mhm.
this is gonna be a real capacity building kind of
Right,
challenge, because it has never existed, so
right,
it will be rocky in the beginning, awkward.
I think that was the most, one of the most valuable site visits we did is when we went at somebody from DPW.
uh-huh,
And they were able to just perfectly show, see this shower here, this is where it picks up speed, and it's where it crosses over the road, so. That was tremendously helpful to have somebody knows the roads and has their eyes on the ground.
Definitely.
so
No,
they
I
need to
don't
be
see-
part of the discussion, right, I mean, they need to be part of the ongoing.
I think it'd be very valuable.
So no, I don't see technical at this stage, you know, I mean, we will get eventually, whether we need some fundraising probably, you know, we need to look for funding both to implement the infrastructure that's recommended or to do these studies if we don't get the funding from the Rural Development Fund. So is there technical assistance and, you know, help, we have a set of grants that are available, but do we use fundraising help? Maybe, but I don't see that we need a lot of technical assistance at this stage. Once we have designs, engineering designs, you know, they'll be putting stuff out to bid and all of that kind of stuff. So, I guess I don't see that, but then I haven't gotten into the work, so I don't want to preclude that either.
Yes.
So how involved is the operation and management plan?
Well, we don't have it yet.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what does it look like?
Yeah, well, so this is FERCog's, you know, picture, and I think
Yeah.
we would have it too, and we've kind of started it here. Let me, go back to my screen here.
I don't wanna block.
Thank you.
And let me go to another document for a minute. I'll say this is really, oh, I think I can't open that, sorry. I have to open the, just regular opening. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the list of maintenance recommendations that we've developed based on our work so far. And in essence, this is the core of a maintenance and operation plan. So, well, one is develop the plan, okay? Each year, say, we go through it twice a year, we assess ditches, we review these uphill locations, we assess and recommend methods to reduce the flow of water from the culverts near specific locations. So this is a lot more specified, like here's an actual address. The same thing here, where there's short-term solution for addressing drainage and impacts and safety issues on 3 properties at Shore, at south end of Shore Drive. So, I mean, what I would imagine as a planner is that each year, the relevant parties would come together and identify the key things that need to get worked on, brainstorm solutions, and then check in with each other throughout the year. How is implementation of this plan progressing? That's just done. And, maybe some people would go, oh, we just go on out there with wings and fix it. But I don't know, I'm a planner, and
Yeah.
I feel like having a plan is good, both to have the plan, have some accountability for who works on the plan, and to build the partnership, working in relationships together, because I don't see how anything can happen in this country without that. Yeah.
This is more an idea. I don't know if it's never really become a reality. However, if it became some sort of standing committee with lots of representatives from other important committees and whatnot, and with the coordination of the LWA, property owners, and just of all of those committees, I was wondering if we might think of even a temporary paid administrator, manager, clerk of some sort. And again, this is kind of an ideal, but the engineering study are going to put us in a position to apply for best management practice implementation grants. One of those BMPs might be to have some sort of professional who is tasked with just coordinating and keeping everybody involved. And I wonder if something like the Collins Center or somebody at FERCog, if they, got word of this and we could interface with them a few times, could recommend perhaps like a graduate study person in planning could have a 1 year or 18-month assignment, and maybe one of the grants we get could actually be to pay an individual to work 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week on something like this. I don't know if it's so unrealistic, but it might alleviate everybody else involved from feeling as though they're doing either a lot of extra work if they're already a paid employee and it's not really their job description, or all of us volunteering to lose it. And so there's one thing I haven't discussed too much yet, but I'm just noticing it now that it's really valuable sometimes to have, like, aside from a board, an administrator or manager or coordinator who can do a lot of the work, paperwork sometimes, and scheduling. So just wanted to throw it out there. It could be hard to achieve, but I think if it were achieved, it would be very beneficial.
Especially something that coordinating, well, especially if it was a town-wide stormwater, stormwater committee.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are the geographic areas that could be subdivisions within that? How many people would be needed? Theoretically, I guess these individual subdivisions could work independently of each other and then come together quarterly or something to, it doesn't mean that, because their issues wouldn't be relevant to each other necessarily, other than that they're all dealing with erosion. But if it was a centralized kind of thing, I don't know how much staffing would be necessary, but it depends on capacity of the people who are involved, probably, but. It's a great idea.
It is,
And, and you know what, it completely is consistent with this whole systems wide look at things and realize, like, when I drove up here, I drove up Wendell Road. And on that hill there, at Wendell Road, there's quite a lot. of issues.
We heard about it.
Yeah.
Really, but it's further up than Lake Whale.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's, I'm going, I wonder if I walked that, am I wondering if that would actually at some level make its way down to Ames, and then make its way into the lake, so. You know, so they would be working independently of each other, but they would be communicating with each other.
There's
To
overlap.
the
Yeah,
extent
yeah.
that they would,
That'd be fine.
benefit.
Is the MVP was, I'm just trying to think.
But there's no.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's about time
Yeah,
to do it
yeah,
again.
we could do that. I was also thinking DLT money for a cut.
Right, so I think we use the DLT,
Yeah.
there's some DLT money.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any left in our
DLT, yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
So I guess what we have to decide is whether,
We
whether
established.
we establish like a broad
Spectrum.
stormwater task force. I don't know, maybe we do it and the first undertaking is the follow through on the Lake Wyola stormwater. And then secondary
It's just
looking at the other,
roots.
you know, other areas within Shutesbury with the stormwater issues, but kind of at the highest priority is the follow through on this, because we have so much data now, we have so much momentum, I don't wanna lose that.
Right.
But I also don't wanna lose any opportunities, like on the MVP or whatever. if
yeah, and having
that's-
such a committee could be of a benefit in applying for.
Right,
The grant. too.
right.
Might be
The
helpful.
other thing is that you can't predict, I don't think you can predict where, so we might have stormwater erosion issues in one place now, but that doesn't mean that
Oh,
they're not gonna show up in
absolutely,
some other
yeah.
place that hasn't
Yeah.
even been on the radar yet.
We're up to October 28th, so I think. interest-
10/28.
For MVP,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so you should,
I just sent it to you guys.
Oh,
okay,
thank you.
okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we create a permanent, stormwater erosion committee.
Okay,
And, what we need to do is.
and can we have a second on the motion?
Oh,
first?
yeah, sure. I was gonna.
Go ahead.
I was gonna give a little more detail.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Kind of like government.
Maybe we got like five or seven, probably seven, probably because we need representation.
Yeah, 7.
7-member committee. And maybe, Haley, you and I could work together to put together a,
Sure.
like the charge of the committee. I mean, this is a select board committee. We don't have to go to town meeting. But we would want to, designate where the representation came from. I think already, you've made your recommendations here, so it's not, we have the highway department, we have, like Wyola Association, we already have some of you guys, and probably we have everybody we need, pretty much. And
But we need, don't we need, if it's gonna be a town-wide committee, then we need people who might be not having Lake Wyola Association, Lake Wyola as a priority also be on this town-wide.
yeah, so let's look at, how we work this, and if we need to make it a little bit bigger. What do I say, 7 to 9? I
7
just
to
don't wanna
9,
make it so big that it becomes unwieldy. How big was your group?
Well, we started out at 11, that reduced to 9.
To 9,
it
and the 9
drifted
worked
down to
pretty
about-
well?
Drifted down to about 7. I think.
7, so we
Yeah.
operated with 7. All right, let's say 7 to 9, but let's
Yeah.
look at it, and then, so.
All those in favor of creating? this
Farrell,
firm?
I,
Dr.
Make peace O'Neill.
All right, so stay tuned for some more
And I
details,
already
yeah.
have a hard copy of the whole report, but I'll work with you.
Yes.
to-
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
don't have to print that yourself.
And again, thank you so much. Thank you, Tom, Bob.
Thank you.
Great work. Really, amazing amount of information.
For COG, let's give them. a lot of
Yes,
credit.
yeah, yeah. They work kind of hand in
They
hand
were
with
on,
you guys.
they were on. Yeah, there's a lot more in that report.
Yeah.
And it really is a problem all around town, so I mean, I think.
It is.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
It is, so.
We live on a hill or mountain.
Yeah,
With a lot of,
Everything
with a
flows
lot of
down.
rock underneath, right?
Right.
So,
like at my house, you can't go that way, you can't go that way.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
let's make popcorn.
By doing this, the town is getting ahead of it. Not.
Yeah.
Catching up a little.
Yeah.
Catching up a little bit, but also getting ahead of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
thanks.
Jennifer. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Uh, Jennifer, can you, when you sit down, just unshare your screen or stop share. Thank you. Next up is the Energy Climate Action Committee, and you're going to present the community choice aggregation products. to us.
Are, and I'm gonna call it cat corner at 4:45 since we had before,
Okay,
so that's done.
all right,
So from one big idea to another big idea.
okay.
So this is the milestones, guys. You achieve, yeah. So the quick reminder is community choice aggregation is an option for municipalities across the state. Or not, because there's like 200 plus communities that have already done it. And the two primary drivers in aggregating is so that as a group of electric customers, you can hopefully get better prices, hopefully get greener energy. That's the key thing. So Nate has been our lead, and there are a few of them, first you guys move on the tower group program. They could bring expertise, et cetera. And then, we had a plan which you guys approved. And where we are now is the exciting part of offering products. So green choice aggregation is the thing that the town is supporting. So now we have to say, okay, Jack, what do you want to buy? And so Colonial went out and they got indicative pricing. So they went to 4 vendors and said, for 1, 2, and 3 year contracts, what would you anticipate for a project that would start in December? So they got pricing, which is the spreadsheet. And there's lots of different flavors of those products. And we met with them, and then we met on last week on September 10th, came up with 2 recommendations. And I think the one thing I would say to frame the recommendations, and total credit to Nate, because he kicked off the discussion, but there's this concept of RECs, renewable energy credits, which on the face of it seems like you're expanding green energy availability. But what Nate introduced, Colonial firm, we had a discussion about is that you get a REC when you've developed green energy already, so it's in the past. Sort of like you put solar on your house, you get a REC. And then buying RECs, you're not creating anything new. And then apparently Massachusetts, the unique thing is there's an alternative, it's ACP, alternative credit compliance payment. And so another way in Massachusetts, you don't have to create green energy. You can make a payment and you get credited with as if you had done it. So what Colonial explained is RECs really don't do what part of what you want to do is to create more green energy in the state by being coming together as an aggregate. So the 2 things that we recommended, you have to have a default. So for people who want to participate in the program, if they don't make a choice, what product do they get automatically? So the one that we're recommending meets Massachusetts requirement, which has a high level of green energy included as a percentage, 63%. So it's going to be better than what we're getting from National Grid, and the pricing is better than we would get with National Grid. So there's those 2 benefits off the top. And then we discussed that if people either didn't buy the argument that RECs were not the greatest thing in sliced bread in terms of advanced green energy, or if they still want to do it because they thought, well, if you make some difference and I want to do it, we offer 100% REC as an option. So rather than sort of forcing it, you know, if you get 35% or 45, it's either what the state asked for or all in. And then, as we pointed out, you know, we didn't want to have too many choices, but people could choose not to participate. So they actually have a third choice, which is keep what they got from National Grid. So that's what we recommended. And then the other stuff is we recommended a 3-year term. Just because I think we agreed, and Cornell agreed that instability is probably the only thing that we know is gonna be the future. So, you know, it might go up and go down, but locking something in for 2 years makes worthwhile, doing it for a year is sort of silly. And then before you ask a question, I just wanted to go through, so assuming that you guys have to vote to basically say, yes, we want to go forward with these products for this term. Then what happens is Colonial would contact Colonial probably tonight and say, the select board approved it, or, you know, hey, we can reach out, whoever. They don't need documentation of the vote, they just need a vote, which is interesting. They go to the 4 vendors and say, okay, give us executable prices that are real. And those prices are due back to Colonial by 9:30 in the morning, next Monday, the 22nd. And then at 11 o'clock, Colonial has a meeting with us, presumably Haley and any of you or any of us, to basically confirm which product, which pricing we want. Presumably, it would be the vendors offering the lowest price for both. It has to be one vendor for both of the products we're offering. So if vendor A has the lowest price for the meets mass requirement at 100%, that would presumably be one that we would go to. They have to hear that at the 11 o'clock meeting. No, they tell us what the pricing is at 11 o'clock, and by 2:30, we have to convey to them that that's what we want. So Monday's a busy day, in that regard. And I think part of what you have discussed tonight is, gets to tell Colonial that officially, like, you know, because Haley get to say on behalf of the town, we're agreeing to this contractual agreement. We're not signing it on the dotted line then, but we're telling them that that's what we want to do. And then I got one other thing I was gonna say, but do you have anything to add? Or, you know? How do you do?
Fantastic.
Oh.
You know, I would add, that when these quotes come in, we don't have to take any of them. So, you know, these pricing that we're going to offer quotes on are going to be something that we can compare to current National Grid rate, which is in that upper right-hand corner, in the spreadsheet. So we'll be able to compare that, you know, at the moment, you know, during this decision. And if we don't like it, we've got, I think it's up to 2 years to, you know, to go through with the DP approval that came in for our aggregation plan. It was, and I think the concern amongst ECAC and Colonial is looking forward, using tea leaves on the price of electricity 1-2 years. We're a little concerned that things don't look like they're going to get a lot cheaper over that time period. So we're trying to offer a lower price, offer it, but also that stability over time, which other communities that have done aggregation have said this has been like a massive benefit to our community to be able to offer that as electricity goes up and down, up and down. So
2 other things I just want to mention, and then I'll shut up. One, just in terms of the process. So if we decide next Monday that we want to go forward, that then kicks in, besides the contracting part, the community outreach and communications part of it. So there's a 30-day opt-out that people will get mail-in letters, everyone in town. They've already got the list of all of us. So they'll send out letters. We'll put stuff on the website. We're going to plan on having a community forum where we and they present, so people are making informed decisions. But everyone's going to have a 30-day opt-out. So they can all, anyone can say, I don't want to do it. And then you can opt out after that at any point, anytime. So it's not that you're going to get stuck into something. And then the last thing, just because recs really are not creating the capacity we wanted, there's a term I've heard, additionality, which is basically creating more capacity and the green energy creation generation market. So what Colonial is excited to work with us as a town, and what they said was, if we're aggregating, so we're Green Choice Aggregation Unit, and they're a broker, they have a special ability to go out to the solar market and say, we are looking for investing Shrewsbury CCA in a solar development that's on the built environment, already used land, all the stuff, so no forest, no wetlands, no agriculture, et cetera. And in doing that investment, what Colonial said is that it would all, most likely bring us a cheaper price on top of the standard price. So we could be advancing our environmental goals, have specific control as well as further advancing the rate to be lower. So that's, we told them we were interested in them researching it, so we haven't heard back, but we've heard lots of enthusiasm, was a neat opportunity. So, any questions?
So I was a little bit confused. So there were two spreadsheets. That showed, I think they both had the same headings with the town of Shutesbury, all requirements, retail power supply pricing matrix, combined rate comparison. And then, showed this, across the top, the suppliers, but the numbers were slightly different.
Sure, we don't.
Yeah, okay, all right, so,
It's gonna.
okay, all right,
Well, as best I can.
okay,
So the difference maker there
Yeah.
is, this row on top.
Yeah.
that Is DASI, which is.
Yeah.
Day ahead ancillary services initiative.
oh. Okay,
Now I-
I get it.
Yeah. It is a pricing element that is specific to our. ISO New England is the grid, footprint that Massachusetts is part of, that extends up into. New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine as well. And I honestly cannot. Fortunately, well, I mean, I know what it's called, exactly how it functions is a little less. So I apologize for not having a better explanation for how it bears. Forward.
I think the real question is, though, given that there are two different charts of figures, are you signing up? What are you signing up for? This chart or this chart, and how come? Right?
Well, I think when we have that call next.
They're gonna
Monday,
tell us.
we will go through.
We'll have,
Okay, I see, okay, they'll tell us the price.
Yeah,
And then the price will be that the category that we'll be looking at is that, the first one or the
so the first bolded thing that meets mass requirement,
Yeah,
third line, which is the term, says 35.
Yep.
I don't know why it's not 36, but.
yeah,
it'd be
that, okay,
35.
that's 36 months,
Months,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Correct. And then the last one, which is the 100% mass, last one, Rex,
right,
also the third line.
okay, so it's the first one and the last one.
Yes.
Okay, but it wasn't the.
We're ignoring everything.
Okay, ignore everything in the middle, okay. So, and so the comparison, like if you look at this, one is like. About 2 cents difference, one is like 1 cent different, 1.5 cents, something like that. Yeah.
So like National Grid is supposed to be 15 cents,
Yeah,
each quarter was 13, and.
Yeah.
We're gonna do like 100% Rex, we go to
Yeah.
16.
okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So you looking at.
I just sit in front of my
I had to print
computer
it
all
all
day.
out, I was like,
Yeah.
holy cow. Oh my gosh.
I'm learning technology.
So I'm fine with Haley doing that.
I can sign the agreement on the 22nd.
Uh-huh,
All right.
The only thing, no question, and this doesn't necessarily apply to our conversation, is can you ask, make sure, there's a number of residents in Shrewsbury have fuel assistance. Make sure that it converts over to that, and if it's not, they may opt to choose National Grid if it has to stay there, but just have that in your presentation.
I think I mentioned that everyone was getting current discounts.
Versus-
programs.
Just check.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could affect how people sign up, okay.
Yeah.
Right, so do I hear a motion, Rita?
Yes, so I move that we we accept ECAC's recommendation for the community choice aggregation. Thank you.
Okay.
It's like red writing.
Do it, well, you will do that second, okay, go ahead,
Second.
okay. All those in favor?
Carol, I.
Stucker,
Makepeace O'Neill, I. Do we have a motion to appoint Haley to be our representative in that meeting on Monday?
Yes, so moved. Sorry,
Okay, all those in favor?
Carol, I.
Stucker,
Makepeace O'Neill, I. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for all that.
Thanks for all that work.
It's like brain damage for me.
I do appreciate the spreadsheets, though. They are
They're fun, but yeah, this stuff is really, yeah.
That's, yeah. That's right.
Have to be experts, but.
For sure. Okay. So moving on to our next topic, a
May-
group insurance commission letter for new membership opportunity.
May I suggest that we do Jill's appointment? She's in our audience.
yes, where
She may
Oh, there
love
she is.
the other
Okay.
conversation.
She might, but we can move her up. Okay. So let's move Jill, the appointment of Jill Bancroft as part-time police officer forward now. This came about, acting chief Devin Pelletier would like to add Jill to our police officer, our police department. Devin, would you like to give us a overview?
Absolutely. As most are likely aware, the police department has some positions to fill at the moment. Tonight we have Officer Jill Bancroft, who's eager, if appointed, to start working part-time in Shutesbury. She'd be helping us with time off coverage as well as some overlapping coverage on a regular basis. Jill currently works part-time in New Salem and has quite a bit of law enforcement experience in other local departments. I believe she would be a great addition to our team and community. With that, I'll turn it over to you for any questions.
Okay, to fill that a little bit in with Devin Haley, I and Devin sat down with Jill and interviewed her last week. And asked her many questions. I felt that she would be a good addition to the police department. She has a very great way of observing a situation and meeting the need that the situation requires in a patient way. And so I felt that was a very wonderful thing. I
Yeah,
didn't
very
know if there's
warm.
anything, yeah.
Personality, I thought, Jill, you had some great answers and you had a great sense of humor, which I think is very important. So yeah, I think she would make an excellent addition to the force.
Either of you have any questions for Jill or acting chief?
No, I don't.
So Jill, I just have one question. So you've been working in New Salem for a while, or? Oops, you're on.
You're muted.
You're muted.
It's harder on the phone.
It is, yeah.
Oh, you're on the phone. Yeah, don't worry, it's fine. I trust,
Yeah,
Melissa
she
and
has been,
Devin.
hold on one
Yes,
second,
yeah.
I have my notes here. So she has been, on the New Salem, Police Department since, for a couple of years, and then, prior of the town of Warwick. So altogether 5-ish years, in police work prior to that, town of Leverett. So she's got plenty of small town.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Small town,
Familiarity
yeah,
with working in
yeah.
small towns. Okay, great. All right, so you made the motion? You made the
I
motion?
think I did, didn't
You
I?
did?
Well, I will, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I move we appoint Jill to the department.
Okay,
And I will second that.
okay. All those in favor?
Carol, I.
Stucker, I.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Thank you.
Welcome,
Oh,
thanks,
you.
thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Devin.
Bye.
Thanks, Jill.
Okay, so we'll check that one off for later. Now we'll move to the
Yeah.
group insurance. Thank you for catching them on.
Oh, yeah.
Daily Irish Chat.
Yeah, so we did receive a letter from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Group Insurance Commission. So they wanted to let municipalities know, that we have an opportunity to join them if we were to pivot from our current provider, which is Hampshire County Insurance Trust. And we could do so July 1st, 2026 is the earliest. So I just wanted to flag that, we've been talking a lot about health insurance, and all the different avenues we've been exploring. So this is certainly one that, Ryan and I will work on determining if that would be a good fit, is it gonna be competitive or not? So I just wanted everyone to know that there are some options out there that hopefully may be cost savings for us in the future.
That's great.
I saw that, Hadley didn't pass their override.
I thought
Would
their
you-
vote was on the 29th.
Well,
I couldn't
the
quite
ta-
tell, because
the
it's,
town
I read
meeting-
they didn't.
So at their town meeting, they didn't pass the override, and then they were gonna have an election too, but the town meeting voted the override down, which I.
Okay.
I mean, I
Do you
noticed
think
the signs,
that
Yeah, no, I
the
think
money
that's-
for the,
the signs, they, like all display signs yesterday on both sides, added this little thing saying June 29th
Yeah,
or
I saw
something.
or,
So they must be
September
putting up to an
29th?
election
There's a
September,
ballot,
yeah.
there's a
ballot
ballot, I think,
question.
but at the
I
town
didn't,
meeting.
I didn't understand it, I couldn't.
Because
get
it was like $3.2 million, but some of that money was for the insurance, was for the
Yes.
health insurance.
Yeah,
I thought, oh my goodness, what if? This is all predicated,
It is all
it's
predicated.
predicated on
appropriation.
everybody coming up with their.
If we weren't able to pay, then that doesn't necessarily help us at all, because we would still have to pay our employees' benefits. It just means that we most likely wouldn't be able to afford the trust, and we'd be kind of on the hook for ourselves, which would be more expensive. So there's not, I mean, it's, I don't mean to like influence anyone when I say this, but it is sort of a necessary.
It's
evil.
reality.
This is not happening just here, it's happening across the state, it's happening in many of our fellow towns, and
And quite literally across the country, we're dealing with it,
Yeah,
right? It's
you know.
small towns everywhere, so, yeah.
and our employees, we do have an obligation to them to make sure that we offer them some kind of benefits. And that's the chief.
State
one.
requires us to.
Yeah, yes, in addition to it being a good mindset, it is a state requirement.
Okay, so that's good to know. You'll keep us up to date on
Yes.
what you find out, or we can check in again. Okay. You didn't need a vote on that at all, did you know? don't
No,
think
when
so.
I have more info on like pricing, because you have to signal your intent by, I think a little, I was, it just.
Like April?
No, it was early. It was
Oh,
this
early
December.
December. Oh,
Yeah,
December.
this
Oh,
calendar
wow.
year.
Okay. All right. So we'll look for some updates for you. All right. Now we review and vote on sending a letter to Franklin Regional Transit Authority.
To appoint me.
Yeah.
Yay, as the Regional Transit Authority rep, which actually I have served in that committee in the prior job.
Okay.
And so I'm ready and eager to do my
To do that.
part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion to appoint Haley as the town's FRTA Advisory Board member?
So moved.
second,
All those in favor?
Carol, I.
Stucker, I.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Do you have something for us to say?
Yes, I have, it's 2 pages.
So are we supposed to sign here?
You kind of just there. Cause no, I don't have any immediate family members that are working.
Okay. This is, I don't
Yeah.
think we signed that, just think that we just did that.
Yeah, I should have read the note on it. Might have been
Just,
helpful. Just that front page,
Okay.
and then I'll sign that.
um. Next, is the appointment of Rich Strangeman, Strangman to the Council on Aging. Okay. So I remember we had the Council on Aging was
Yes.
looking for members to meet, there even there are 5.
Yeah.
So Rich would be one of them. So do I hear a motion to appoint him to?
We
Council on
did
Aging?
talk with him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
he was
Okay, yeah, I didn't-
absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I know, yeah.
yeah, he's a good basketball coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was great. As the former COA director, it's always really nice to have a male perspective.
Mhm.
It's usually a population that we don't see a lot at senior centers. And he had some really great things to say, very thoughtful things on transportation, especially for older adults, so.
Great,
That's great.
yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Rich Strandman to the Council on Aging.
Okay.
Second,
All those in favor?
Carol, I.
Stocker,
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. And that leads right into our next appointment of Kathy Salvador to the Police Chief Search Committee as the Personnel Board Representative.
This would round out.
Would round out the whole committee, yep.
Okay, great. I, move that we appoint Kathy Salvador to the Police Chief Search Committee.
second,
Okay, all those in favor?
Carol, I.
Stocker,
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. And then our last thing is to review and sign a special event permit for the town common on October 5th for the 3rd annual Shutesbury Townwide Birthday Party.
I actually don't have a lot of info on this. I think this went straight into Brennan's hands, but from what I understand, the intention is to continue this as an annual
Yep.
event and offer the opportunity for boards, committees, town staff to advertise and meet people.
Yep.
So.
Okay,
Do I hear a motion?
so moved.
Okay,
Sure, for-
second,
okay. All those, all those in favor?
Carol, I.
Stocker,
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Okay, and now TA report.
It just says chair.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
Jen has a question.
Do I need to be on here to ask my
No, you can ask
Yeah,
her.
that's what I forgot to ask this. So since our charge is technically completed as of today,
Yeah.
does that mean that I, as the chair, can disband or move in any official capacity, or is there a procedure? that
We have to
I
vote to
follow
do
or
that.
is it formal?
We have to formally vote to do that, and that wasn't on our agenda
Yeah,
tonight
yeah,
to do.
that is a-
We'll do
yeah.
it at our next meeting.
Yeah.
And then maybe get the next,
Yeah, because
We're
we're gonna have to
going.
charge. direct.
Yeah. and we'll have to charge draft.
Make sure you get the other
One
signatures.
meeting
Thanks.
that
Yeah.
Could be Thursday to final.
Okay,
We'll do that in the meantime.
Okay, good.
We'll wait for your vote.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
thank
great.
you. Good question.
yeah. I told you. She remembers these things.
And now the town administrator.
Yes. I have
updates
two
or
things.
report.
I am proposing that you adopt 2 policies. One is regarding meetings on religious holidays. So we had talked about that at the last meeting.
Yep.
So this is very just short and sweet. And if there's any additional ones, of course, we could add those. But I modeled it off of our discussions and off of Pelham. So it's
Okay.
the same policy. And so basically, this one is just outlining, you know, in addition to the federally recognized and state recognized holidays, Passover, Good Friday, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Hanukkah.
So do I hear a motion to approve the Shutesbury policy regarding meetings on religious holidays?
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Carol, I.
Stocker,
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Thank you.
The next one is a special event policy, so I don't believe we have one.
That's it.
Yeah.
So then you need to fill out this form.
Yeah,
How
but-
would anybody know that this event calls?
I'll take one here.
oh, yeah.
Um,
That's okay.
So I've drafted you one, it's pretty straightforward, I modeled a lot of it just based on the application form itself, but it just tells people, what the procedure is. It outlines the fees for service, who needs to approve it. I did want to suggest one other amendment to the language in here, which is just to add select board or designee, because I think there might be some cases where I could just sign off on, it's like a pretty simple, no more than 35 people
Didn't
event.
we have a town common use policy?
I think you do also have that, but I don't.
Okay, this
you
is
have the
different.
Form,
Okay.
yeah,
No, I
Do
just.
you have
trying
a
to leave.
form for the use of the town common?
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw it, yeah, one time.
Actually, I think that's what we
Okay.
just signed.
No, I think
No?
it did say special event.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it said
Okay.
special event.
So this is in addition to that form. right?
Okay.
It's creating the policy for which the form will.
Right,
be filled out.
I see.
But it's a-
Revised. Bring the form itself.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be all together. Because with the policy, we can put it up on the website and direct people there.
Gotcha.
The book and the form itself goes into that, how to, that is on the website, apply for, and then there was the form. How to get people to understand that this is a policy, is a different question.
Yes.
Would this apply to? This wouldn't apply to the library, they would have their own.
No, this would apply for part of, the biggest part of the form is, do you need a detail? So a
Right.
special event, like, are we doing a road race where we need to
I
have
see.
like
Oh,
it mapped
okay.
out, that there
Right,
has to
right,
be
right.
coordinating
Okay.
all. So this wouldn't be like if the library wants to put on like a children's event here,
Right,
that's something different, but
right.
like,
This is from somebody from the outside typically and not
Yes.
not
Not
a
town.
town sponsored.
entity.
Okay.
like, for
Okay.
example, a request came in for the church luncheon to happen like on the park.
Oh.
So that's
okay.
not like,
Oh, the thing on the 28th, the hot dog thing.
Okay, all right. I make a motion that we approve the special events policy.
Second.
You know what we learned on the public policy that you just did? I would suggest that we had an example such as you just gave to make clear to somebody read the policy. By time and I mean, that's a huge difference. Road race requires police.
Yeah, maybe some
Yeah.
examples of,
I think that's
yeah,
a good
just kind of a,
We just incorporated it into the policy.
For example, what kind of event would qualify for a requirement?
large group of people.
Okay, so just
I'll add
to
that.
add that,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, what about a road race like the turkey trot that the library's presenting?
Well, that's a town entity, so that's a
So
little,
that's-
So the town would just have the police
Right.
there.
Right, and they arranged for that.
yeah, they
Right.
do.
Does it? Require.
it
Yeah,
does
is that-
say, yes, and also in the application form itself. Specifically talks about food and beverage, alcohol possibly, and then detail rates for fire, police and fire truck. And then it gives information on how that is determined, like what the calculations are. So, yeah, and from the language here, it says, name of sponsoring organization, so I take that to mean an outsider rather than.
An insider.
Yeah,
It could be.
essentially, it's, we want to make sure that our police and fire know,
If something's happening.
Something's.
yeah, if something
Right.
that scale, so that there's accountability.
Right.
I would only say too that public, the last line there about the fire truck, $25 per truck, that's ridiculously cheap.
I know, you could always vote to raise that. I just took it off
Do
the
$25
form.
per hour
Or
or
something.
more.
Yeah. $25 per house.
Yeah, okay, that's okay, that's what that means.
$25 per hour.
Okay, I guess this doesn't, I see it does refer to hourly rate, I guess, okay. I would just make that
Cause they
clear.
could be there for 10 hours at $25.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But don't forget, they're also paying for the firefighter to sit in the truck.
Right,
Right, so,
right. But fire truck.
cause the truck can't go with any, the truck can't just be parked, it has to have someone in it. To drive it there.
Right,
So,
as long as it says per hour, that's, I think.
Yeah,
guess
I think
what
that's a good addition.
I just was reading it literally.
Lenny may need. And I know, the acting chief has done this for detail, but Lenny may need to come up with an invoice for that,
Yes,
to be able to do
I
that.
think that.
Know that it goes into general fund for, okay, not
And
the
he may be
firefighter.
able to suggest, I don't know when, I don't think there's a date on this form, like when it was made, but he may wanna
There's
look
a
at
while
that and say, you know, is that really reflective of the true cost of having a vehicle there? Cause it might not
It
be,
may not be, yeah,
but once you have the policy, you can always change the policy.
right,
Right.
alright. Alright, do I hear a motion to approve the special events policy as amended?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, all those in favor?
Farrell, I.
Dr.
Make use of your line, thank you. Okay, and now we are going into executive session.
Can I just ask one other question? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are we all set for town meeting? Is there anything, yeah, okay.
The constable got it, it's been posted, school's all set, school's all set.
Wi-Fi?
Sure, I gotta do Wi-Fi, so. Yeah, I don't wanna forget that. So,
When did we meet again? I ate that other little piece.
Oh, good, I was gonna say.
I saw you looking for it.
No, I was looking to see if you had eaten it, and you have.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I ate little pieces. What, when's our next meeting?
the 30th, you have a 6 o'clock right before the town
Right
meeting.
before, we don't.
That's
meet
our next
before
one.
that.
And we-
Do you want, do we?
I thought we did, hold on, maybe not.
I don't think.
At the select board on the 16th. Oh wait, that's today. We moved it,
Yeah,
so the 30th, you're right?
so that's 2 weeks.
We could put one on the schedule, we could always cancel it if we did need it.
Yeah,
Do
do we feel like we want to have another one? Do we just wanna meet and have a check-in for town meeting, cause we don't, when we have only the part-time clerk?
Maybe we should.
Maybe we
When-
should.
When is the clerk? Is she?
Lisa, well, should be in on Thursdays, I think, and maybe Fridays.
Has she been, she wasn't in, she in today?
No, not today, no.
Okay.
She's also trying to follow Jeanette's schedule,
Oh,
so that
okay,
there's time for her to be working with her and
okay.
understanding our processes.
right.
But yeah, she was here last Thursday. She is definitely reachable by email through her leverage. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't expect to see her till Thursday this week? Okay.
Does she have access to the Shutesbury town clerk? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she checks. that
Hello.
stuff.
Great, hi, John.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hanging in there.
We're about to go into an executive session.
Does that mean leave?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Sorry, we're glad you came. Did you need something from us?
Is it any time for the police chief and all that? They said Monday night.
Next Monday,
Next Monday.
next Monday.
Hour for nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're looking good.
well, I'm out.
All right, okay, bye.
Thanks for coming, John.
First person ever, a week
ya.
early for a meeting.
Okay, so we are going into executive session for reason number 3. To discuss strategy in respect to collective bargaining or litigation of an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on bargaining or litigation position of public body, and the chair so declares will not be returning to public session. All those in favor of entering the executive session?
Carol, I.
Straw cry.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Did you did the motion?
I just did.
Oh,
Yep. So I'm gonna,
I'm gonna stop the recording.
Yeah, and, Amanda has to leave.